Alright, YouTube says I'm live, so I must be live, right? Right. Internet never lies, right? I don't know whoever came up with that lie, but that's what they say anyways. Welcome in, this is Hanging with Dave. This week it's episode 59, I believe, right? Yep, episode 59. I've been doing this for, well, I've made it live for 59 weeks. Pretty good, I think. This little stream that I do it every weekend. It's usually Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. This week I had to work a full-time job, do some overtime. So I'm doing it a little bit after 5. I was aiming for 5, but technical difficulties came up. So, yeah, I'm running a little bit behind schedule tonight. It's 5:15 here locally. But pretty much it's just kind of invite the subscribers and the ones that want to join in, come in and join in, hang out with me. We go down through the comments that was left on the video for the past week. You know, whatever comments that came in. I try to interact with chat as much as I can. If you guys want to throw any kind of questions or comments or concerns over there in chat, I'll be more than happy to answer them as well as I can. A few disclaimers I throw out every weekend. Number one, I do enjoy a cold beer while I do the live stream, so cheers to y'all that's watching me. I hope you find yourself well on this Saturday. I am a truck driver by trade, so a little bit of foul language may come out. I try to keep that to a bare minimum. I don't cuss a whole lot, but from time to time it will slip. You know, if one of them to offend you, I'm sorry, but you know, I am who I am, and I am the way that I am. So, you know, if that kind of offends you, or you don't want to deal with the drinking or the cussing, maybe this ain't the right stream for you. I haven't really had a chance to go down through the comments this week, so I don't know what kind of comments I got. So when it comes to overclocking, you know, everybody says, you know, hey, I got these components, I got this particular set of RAM. What can I get out of them? I don't know, but I do the best that I can to answer your questions and to help you out the best I can, at least give you a starting point. You know, a question like that's kind of hard to answer. Even if I had the exact components that you got, you know, they will overclock differently. Just they call it the silicon lottery. You know, maybe the silicon that your RAM or your CPU is made out of is a little bit better than mine. Maybe yours got a little bit better memory controller out of it than what mine does. You know, so there is variance even if it's the exact same ports. So, you know, take that into consideration when you're asking the overclocking questions. Then towards the end, you know, kind of tell you what's coming up on the channel, what you can look forward to. You know, I did order a few ports here this morning before work to get some new stuff for the channel. I got a couple videos already started that I plan on trying to finish here soon. But even if I get 2 or 3 ahead, I still try to only do one a week, just to try to keep on my regular schedule. That way everybody knows when to expect a video from me. Yeah, I guess we'll pop you guys over here and we will start going down through these questions and comments on the videos for the past week. Let me get this flipped around here. There you go. Can you guys see that, can you? Looks like it's coming through pretty good. Let's see here. Starting out here, 1 week ago. Minister Paulin. Hello, after setup, as you mentioned, when I reset the PC, everything is okay, but when I shut down and then power on, appear a blue screen. Any suggestions? That was on how to overclock your RAM on the HCB 550M Wi-Fi. Unstable overclock. Try to turn the settings back on that overclock a little bit. Sounds like you're getting a little bit too much speed out of your RAM that your components ain't happy with. And I'll say it now and I'll say it at the end. You know, I appreciate all the support from you guys. You know, you guys watch all my videos, like them, share them. all that, especially the guys that leave the comments. You know, that's kind of what makes the live show go, is the comments, basically. Well, chat does too, when I have people that's talking to in chat and wanting to chat. But I want to thank y'all for the support. I want to thank y'all for watching the videos, liking them, sharing them, comments, all that. And I'll say it again too. I used to say it in between each comment, but it got awful repetitive. So I quit doing it between every comment. But I want to just show my little bit of appreciation to y'all for all that you do for me. Let's see here. Next, yeah, but on that one, I'd say overclock's a little bit too strong. I'd try to cut back on the megahertz a little bit, or maybe give it a little bit more voltage, depending on how you got yours configured. Dale Borton, disabling the onboard graphics on the Gigabyte B450M. Mine won't boot at all. BIOS clear required 3 different GPUs. Reset, no AMD graphics card would work. Needed NVIDIA to work properly. That's awful strange. I'm assuming that's after he disabled the onboard graphics. Mine wouldn't boot at all. BIOS cleared required 3 different GPUs. Reset, no AMD graphics card would work. That's awful strange that AMD graphics card wouldn't work with an AMD system. If he's running that motherboard, he'd definitely have an AMD system. It's something to keep in mind, I guess. Not really too sure on how to answer that one. Let's see here. Then we got Papa Homie. On the Cooler Master Box MB311L ARGB airflow case unboxing and overview. Just bought one, thanks. You're welcome. I hope the video kind of led you down the right track and you know what you're getting yourself into by watching that video. Seemed to be a pretty good little case from the short time that I owned it. Pretty good deal, I think, for the price. Not bad. And that's something else. You know, I'm not very good with the English language, let alone some of these YouTube handles. So if I butcher your names too bad, I apologize up front. And that goes for if you're in chat or if you're leaving comments, either way. I want to throw that out there now. We got Alan McKitty, I guess we pronounce that. Cooler Master Box Q300L build. Hey Dave, I've been watching your videos a lot. I have the same motherboard and the yellow LED audio guard is not working. I never see it on mine and shining. Do you know what's going on? That I do not. Actually, I wish that motherboard didn't have that, but yeah, I don't know. Mine just worked out of the box. Maybe you got a bad motherboard, I'm assuming. That's about the only thing that would be, because that's directly connected to the motherboard. I'm gonna say you probably got a bad motherboard there. Let's hear my buddy Aspen Dixon. 6 days ago. That was on Let's Play Cyberpunk 2077 live stream. That's got on the replay. Yeah, that thumbnail, man. Absolutely killing it, Dave. Well, thank you, Aspen. Appreciate that. I'm trying to get a little bit better with my thumbnails. I don't know how much better I'm doing with them, but I'm trying to. We have Rosie. Disabling the onboard graphics on the B450M. I don't even have that. Says it at mine. It's like IOMMU, then SATA mode, but it's not even there. I'm assuming that ain't showing up that you can have anything on the onboard graphics. If it's not showing up, it's grayed out. It's because you don't have onboard graphics. You ain't running an APU in the system. If you're running APU, it should be there and it should show up for you. And then if you ain't running a CPU with onboard graphics, it ain't that big of a deal. I put that video out mainly because sometimes whenever you put a GPU into an APU system, it'll still run off the APU graphics instead of the GPU graphics, and you won't get all your performance out of the GPU. If you don't have an APU, I wouldn't even worry about it because it has no option but to run off the GPU. Scrub HQ, hanging with Dave, episode 58. That's last week's show. Says hello, sure. Hello, how you doing? Who else have we got here? We have Mr. Oatmeal. How to overclock the Ryzen 7 2700 on the Ryzen Master software. Hey, I use the program as well, but my settings reset every time I boot up the computer. I don't know if I got that downloaded or not. Let's see here. Yeah, right there. There's actually a button on it that you gotta click to they've changed it some. There's a button someplace on it that you have to click to get it to save the profile and to boot up on start. You may actually have to do an overclock to get it. Yeah, but I'd go into it and look around. There's usually a button someplace that you have to click. There's a button on it. They've changed it since I've actually used it, but there's a button on it that you have to click to have it to boot automatically up whenever you restart your system. And of course I'm having a hard time finding it now. But I'll answer back to him, and I'll look into it and tell him exactly how to get into it. But I can't find it right now. Let's see here. We got It's PX 3 days ago. How did it disable the onboard graphics? I have a Ryzen 5 3600X and a GTX 1660 Super, but BIOS I don't have this option. Any suggestions? Again, just like I said, 3600X don't have onboard graphics, so that option will be grayed out. You won't be able to turn off the onboard graphics because you don't have any. Let's see here. We have Walls 183, Cooler Master Box Q300 build guide. Finally, someone that shows how to install an HDD. Thanks. You're welcome. When installing a hard drive, that's what an HDD is a hard drive. It depends on the case that you got as well. Some of them got sleds that fits the whole hard drive in. Some just got little plastic pieces clips on the side and slides in. But yeah, I try to cover it pretty good in my videos on the build videos, because I know a lot of people don't, use hard drives, so a lot of people don't show how to connect them. So who else do we got? We have Lenore X on the ASRock B450M Pro. He says, love the content, man. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoy the content. Who else do we got here? We have Go Hicks, I guess we pronounce that. How to update the BIOS on the Gigabyte B450M DS3H motherboard. He says, hey, I want to make me computer this weekend, and I have a motherboard B450 DS3H Gigabyte, but I don't have a 2nd gen Ryzen. I have a 3rd gen. How can I update the BIOS for compatibility, please? If you're just now buying the motherboard should come with the BIOS that's needed for Ryzen 3000 series by now. if it's got a little sticker on it that says 3000 ready, or if it said it in the description that it boot up a 3000 series processor. If not, AMD has a loaner program that they will loan you an older processor. You could maybe check with your local computer shops. Some of them are actually due for free or low cost just to update that BIOS for you. Or you could buy a cheap old 2000 series processor with an integrated graphics or something, and update the BIOS and then send the chip back. You know, Amazon's pretty good with their return policies, returning about anything. I mean, it costs you $100 up front, but you get your money back when you return it to them. Something like that, maybe. But if you're just now buying that motherboard and you're buying it new, it should come already pre-installed with the right BIOS on it for the Ryzen, with the 3rd gen Ryzen. So that would be my recommendations for that. Then we got Blueberry Pie 157 3 days ago on the ASRock B450M Pro 4 motherboard unboxing and overview. He says, I asked you for this. Thank you so much, Dave. You're welcome, Blueberry Pie 157. I got some more content coming up on that motherboard. Actually, I got the BIOS update already partly recorded. I'll probably do some overclocking on that. You know, I definitely plan on doing some more content on that motherboard since I've already bought it. Try to get as much as I can out of my money with this. Let's see, we have memes 3 days ago on the ASRock B450M Pro motherboard. He says, nice motherboard. From what I've seen of it, it is a pretty nice motherboard for the money. I think it's going to be a pretty stable little motherboard. It is more of a budget or entry level board, but you know, you kind of get what you get with it. But it is pretty nice. Let's see here. We got NK 3 days ago. It was also on the ASRock B450M Pro 4 motherboard unboxing and overview. It says, thanks for the video, Dave. A friend of mine is running some B350 ASRock for $50 and can OC 2700X. At this point, we think it's a pretty solid piece of hardware. Heard that sometimes they put good enough VRMs even on some of the cheaper motherboards. With the cheaper motherboards, Maxter 1878. Alright, Dave, bedtime for me here, so I'll catch the replay tomorrow. Take care, bud. Yep, you take care too, bud. I'm glad you took a chance to hang out with me for a little bit today. These cheaper budget motherboards, they are what they are. VRMs on them. Usually they ain't the greatest, but you can do some overclocking on them. And pretty well by looking at the heat sinks on them, you can tell how good of a overclocking motherboard they're going to be, or how good the VRMs are going to be on them. Because the better they are for overclocking, the more of a heat sink they're going to have on them. That's kind of what I was looking at, and I was trying to look underneath the heat sinks as much as I could on them when I was talking about the the VRMs on them. You know, and it pretty well depends on the manufacturer too. Like I said, you know, Asus is my go-to if you're looking for an overclocking motherboard, and that's why even with their budget motherboards or the cheaper motherboards, they seem to have pretty good VRMs on them. ASRock does a pretty good job on the VRMs as well. But ASRock's always been the budget-friendly option for motherboards usually. They're pretty hard to beat for the price for what you get out of them. Yeah, Sebastian's Crater. Let's play Cyberpunk 2077. Nice. Keep loading videos. Thank you. Playing on it. Let's see here. We got 3 in a row from 2 days ago. How to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B450M DS3H motherboard. He says, guys, ASRock B450 Pro 4 for 68 euros. Or a Gigabyte B450M DS3H revision 2, Vision 2, 61 euros. Which one should I buy? The ASRock B450M Pro, I haven't had much time with it. The Gigabyte B450, I used that for quite a while on my main system. The Gigabyte, that seemed to do good for everything I needed it to do. ASRock B450M Pro, the B450 Pro 4, Pro 4F. Don't have much experience with the Pro 4F. That must be an overseas motherboard. I don't even think that one's even available in the US. Pro 4F. We have a Pro 4. Pro 4 revision 2. But I don't see one that's got an F after it. Amazon, let's see. B450M Pro. B450M Pro 4F. That's going for $181 here. Wow. 4 DIMM slots. RGB header. It kind of depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking that's a good little solid motherboard, the Gigabyte B450 DR8. Looks like this one's going to have more chassis fan headers on it. This one does have, down here in the corner, it does have ARGB and RGB instead of just RGB, like the Gigabyte motherboard has got. Two chassis fan headers on it. Got all the chassis fans you got on it. What's the back I/O look like? And it's still only got the 3-port. Do have the Type-C connector. I'd say probably go with the ASRock motherboard myself. Just because of the extra fan connectors. It's got the extra chassis fan connector on it. And it also has RGB and an ARGB header, so you have a little bit more options with your lighting source for your RGB lighting. VRMs look, they look alright, I guess. I mean, depending on if you're planning on overclocking or not, a whole lot. You got 3 system fan headers on it. You got 3 system fan headers, you got RGB and ARGB. The B450M DS3H. B450M DS3H. Even if you go with the Vision 2 or the standard one. I know it's only got 1 system fan header, which is kind of put right back here for your back fan. I thought it had an RGB header on it. Oh, excuse me. I don't even look like it's even got RGB, let alone ARGB on it. Yeah, the VRMs on it looks worse than on the ASRock motherboard. There's no Type-C connector on it for USB connectivity. Me personally, for the price difference, I go with the ASRock B450M Pro 4F socket. I think that'd be a better buy, even though it's, I think it's what you say, $2 more or $2 €2 more, €7 more. Yeah, I'd probably go with the B450 Pro F, because it does have RGB, ARGB headers on it. It's got more fan connectors on it. The VRMs look a little bit better on it to me. I mean, just by a quick glance, I'd say go with the ASRock B450 Pro. That would be my suggestion. Alright, what else do we got here? We have MJ Mobile Hack Z on the Cougar MG 120G gaming computer case unboxing and overview. Please help me with pulling the front off, please. The front panel on that one, there's no clips to hold that one on. I actually got the build coming up in that case this week. I believe in that video I showed pulling off that front panel. There's a little slot at the very bottom in the front. You gotta slide your fingers up underneath though, grab a hold and pull on it. You do have to tug pretty hard on it. It does fit in there pretty tight. I don't know exactly how else to help you do that. But like I said, it is pretty tight. It's pretty hard to pull, you know. Whenever I did, I actually had to put my other hand on top of the case to hold it still while I pulled it off, because it is pretty tight fitting. But it just pulls straight off. There's no clips or nothing on it. Let's stay here for a second. You can look at my pretty mug for a while. We can get rid of these while you look at me here. I'm trying to see see if I can, excuse me, find it in that video while I'm pulling off that front panel. I said, that's the back. Well, that's the front panel. That's where the front fans went in. There it is. Alright, now we can flip you guys back over here. This is this week's video coming up. It's a little bit of a time lapse for the build process. I didn't make you guys sit through the whole build process. But right there is what I was talking about. Right there, you just put your fingers up underneath the front edge of it and pull. Like I say, it does fit pretty tight. You see my backhand back there holding it down to hold the rest of the case still while I pull it out. So yeah, it is a pretty hard pull, but that's basically the way you do it. Maybe I'll send them a link to that video to show them how to do it. But rather than just showing them how to do it, I don't know how else to actually help them do that. Okay, next we have, what is that? NXX Tech, TCH. Guess we pronounce that. How to overclock your RAM on the Asus B550M Wi-Fi. He says, thanks, Dave. Well, you're welcome. Let's see, I hate communism. Comment on how to overclock your RAM, or how to overclock your Ryzen 5 3600 on the B550M A Wi-Fi. I have a Ryzen 7 3700X on the Asus B550 AM with a AMD 5700 XT Asus Dual Evo. I haven't had any trouble out of it at all, but I wish that I would have went with an Asus Tough X570. I'm thinking about upgrading the motherboard and RAM before too long, probably sometimes in the next month. Okay. It was running good. It's doing what you need to do. I don't see much sense in upgrading, but if so, you know, that maybe something that, I mean, if it's something that you feel that's necessary and it ain't gonna, you know, you actually have the extra money to do so. I actually moved from the B450 up to the X470 just to have content for the channel, because my little gigabyte motherboard was going fine for me. But yeah, I mean, you go with the Asus stuff. They make a X570 motherboard. They make pretty good motherboards. Let's see, we have James Caleb. How to overclock your RAM on the B550M. Says, thanks a lot for this tutorial. It really helped me out. Well, you're welcome. Glad I could help you out. Then we got Rick Realcock. Overclock the Ryzen 5 3600 on the Asus. Thanks for this. Finally a video which is easy to follow and explains very well, especially for myself as a new PC beginner. I'm glad you found that video helpful. I hope that shows you how to get your overclock on your CPU done right. Is that going to be it for this week? Looks like it's going to be it for this week. Nothing held for review. Alright guys, I think that's going to do it for the Q&A here. Don't see any more questions, no more comments, concerns. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you know, you're watching me live, feel free to throw them over there in chat. If not, throw them down in the comments, and I'll definitely go through them next week on the next week's live show. As far as the channel goes, we ain't doing too bad. The community's growing fairly well, I guess you could say. Let's see here. Past 7 days, we got 17 new members to the community. Welcome in. I hope you all find the videos helpful, or at least interesting, or entertaining in some way, some form. But I want to thank you all for watching the videos and the support and leaving the comments and all that. It really means a lot to me. Whenever I started putting up videos, I didn't know if anybody would ever watch them or not. But we're up to 1,206 community members. So we're doing pretty good, I think. No more time than what I had to put into the videos, and no more than how good my video production is right now. I think I'm doing pretty good. But I want to thank you guys, because I know a lot of you watch my videos, even though they really ain't really anything you're really interested in, but you watch them anyways. I really appreciate that. You guys are pretty consistent with that, you know, and the likes and the shares and all that. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. As far as coming up on the channel, you've seen a clip of it already. I got a build video coming up this week. It's the Cougar MG120 gaming computer build for 2020 and 2021. I actually built it in 2020. Built over the New Year's time off that I had from my full-time job, but it ain't going live till 2021. So yeah, and a lot of the ports, if you've seen the $900 gaming PC, I actually use the same CPU and GPU. I was looking for different components to put in it all together, but as everybody knows, you know, the prices on graphics cards and CPUs right now is outrageous, especially for AMD. It's a hard market to try to find anything. I'm actually looking for some components for some budget stuff, and I'm actually thinking about putting together an Intel system. They're actually readily available. You can actually pick them up for the price that you're supposed to be paying for them. Pretty amazing, I think. The new graphics cards, you know, I mean, even the older graphics cards, I was looking at RX 470s, 480s, 580s. You know, they're still going for well over $300 yet, being new. The used market's just as crazy. I was looking for a 1660 Super, you know, because someone asked about doing a build with one of those. I'm not willing to pay the price that they want for them because they're way overpriced right now. So I don't see that happening anytime soon. I also have that Be Quiet Pure Loop 240 all-in-one water cooling. I want to do some videos on it, which I actually ended up putting in that Cougar MG 120 case build. I put that one in that build so I can do some testing with it and whatnot. I'm actually thinking about buying like a $100 air cooler, kind of pairing them off against each other. You know, what you get for a $100 all-in-one, or compared to a $100 air cooler, you know, what's the benefits going with the liquid cooler, something like that. Kind of running through my idea. I don't know how well it'll do, but I think it's kind of interesting. Because me personally, I've always been an air man. You know, I'd always go with the heat sink instead of going with liquid cooling. But I found that one kind of interesting because you can refill that one. And the pump actually ain't on the head, you know, with bolt screws onto your CPU. I thought that was kind of cool as well. But like I said, I haven't got to do no testing with it yet. I want to do some overclocking videos on that B550M. I do have the update of the BIOS on that one. For Blueberry Pie 157. He actually asked for me to do a BIOS update on that one. And I got most of it recorded already. But I'm going to have to throw a disclaimer on that one too. With the Ryzen 5000 series that came out, the BIOS update on them things ain't as easy as what they was. You have to really read them notes on them. You know, because even ASRock itself, you know, if you're running, say, a 2000 series processor, they tell you not to go up beyond this BIOS update. You know, and it's probably because there's some kind of instability, or they're going to no longer support the 2000 series processor. You know, the newer BIOS probably only support the 3000, 5000 series processors. Which, I don't know. I mean, when you have a motherboard that's been around for, what, 4 years now, running all these different CPUs and whatnot, you can, you know, there's going to be conflicts with it. But by looking at the BIOS when I was in it and reading the notes, it'd be pretty easy to mess that motherboard up by updating to the wrong BIOS if you're running an older processor. And I have a feeling a lot of the B450 motherboards is doing the same. I don't think it's just an ASRock thing. You know, I figure even Gigabyte's doing it. I figure Asus is doing it. You know, they gotta do something to save some of that memory. So it's kind of, and after looking at that BIOS, it's kind of hard for me to say that, you know, to update your system to get better performance out of it with the BIOS update. You know, because a lot of times it does improve the way the CPU operates, better memory control. You know, it operates the memory controller differently. You know, if you're buying a newer GPU, that's usually a way to fix a lot of problems if you're putting a newer GPU in an older system, is by updating that BIOS. But with the way they're doing the BIOS now, that support some CPUs but not other CPUs, if you don't read them notes carefully, I mean, you ain't gonna mess your system up completely, but it may not reboot. You may have to buy a different processor to get it to boot. You know, so it's getting a little complicated as far as AMD BIOSes go. But I do have that coming up. Like I said, I did put the 240 in that build with that motherboard. If I can do some overclocking with it and whatnot. I don't know if I can show you this or not. If you want, which I ordered them today. Let's see here. There we go. I think I can show you this and not give away too much here. Don't look like any of my personal information showing anyways. I ordered this here for myself, for my system. I got the Corsair 400D Airflow tempered glass side panel case. I'm going to be putting my system in that. I also got me some of these Asian horse white sleeved cables for my PSU. I'm going to take my system and kind of make a white build out of it. While I'm going with white, you know, I run that Asus X470 motherboard. It's got a lot of white accents on it. I've got the fans in it. They're basically white when they're shut off and the lights ain't on, which is how it sits over there. Even though I got all the RGBs and all that in it, I don't run a lot of RGBs in it. I don't even have them on. So you'll be seeing some content on that stuff coming up. On the channel as well. What else do I got coming up on the channel? I'm not too sure on what else I got coming up, but that's some of the ideas that I'm working on already. If you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you see my new computer shell come in. I got an unboxing and assembly guide for it coming up. That's right there. It is the AK Racer. Right there's the right there it is, AK Racer. That's the chair that I got. There'll be an unboxing and assembly of it coming up, kind of a first impressions. I got that coming up on the channel. So yeah, I got quite a few videos in mind. I got quite a few content that I need to get hammered out and get up on the channel. Next week we're working extra overtime through the week, so hopefully I won't have to work next Saturday. I'm kind of glad I've had a pretty light work schedule the last couple of weeks for the holidays, because I didn't get no recording done at all. I was about ready to cancel that live stream for the day, actually, because I flipped on my camera and flipped on my lights. And I started having technical difficulties with the camera and OBS. And of course, OBS needed updated, Windows needed an update. And so I just about canceled it, but I decided not to. So I hope the video's coming out alright. I hope the live stream's doing good. It looks pretty good on my side anyways. I was having a lot of problems with focusing on the camera. So, well, it looks good on the camera screen, but in OBS it wasn't looking the best. I was awful washed out and out of focus and whatnot, but I think it turned out alright. Looks like it's doing alright right now. But yeah, got anything that you want to chat about, or you got any questions or comments or concerns for me, throw them over there in chat. If not, I think I'm going to wrap it up for this episode. I've been going for about 45 minutes, I guess. That ain't too bad. If you like this kind of content, make sure you get down and give me a like. If not, there's that dislike button below. There's also a comment section. I'll go through them every weekend here on my live stream, just like I did today. Usually 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S. If you really like this kind of content, make sure you get down and hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. That way you're notified next time I put out a video or go live here on YouTube. And if you're also interested, I'm on Instagram and Twitter. I don't kill your inbox, but I do put up photos of new stuff I got coming in to let you know what kind of content's coming up on the channel. And if there's anything like this week with my live stream, you know, I had to change the time out. You know, I threw it up there on Instagram and Twitter as soon as I found out. Kind of give you a heads up on what's going on with the live stream. We got canceled or change the time. You know, that's where you get the notifications on that as well as on Instagram and Twitter. But with all that being said, you all have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video or live stream.